Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1. We are the official voice of Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation. We're beaming live and direct from the corner of Broad and Buchanan Streets, downtown Monrovia. Today is the 14th day of April. And somebody says this day is historic for us as a nation and a people. Today in 1979, about 2,000 activists began what was planned as a peaceful march to the grounds of the executive mansion. The protest march swelled dramatically when the protesters were joined en route by more than 10,000 backstreet boys, causing the march to quickly degenerate into this orderly mob of riot and destruction. So good afternoon. Invite a friend to listen to this edition or join this edition of the Hard Talk. My name is Tiawan Williams. My colleague is Anthony J. Van John Play. We'll drive you between 9 to 6. Today is a special edition of the program, right. The Hard Talk on ABC Radio. We'll be going deep into the April 14, 1979 arrest riots. And guess who do we have as our guest onto this edition? We have presidential hopeful Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, one of the progressives. We also have Mr. John Stewart, another progressive, joining us this afternoon on the Hard Talk as we talk about the April 14, 1979 arrest riot. We'll also be talking about Councillor Gongloe's presidential bid. We'll be talking about his preparation and all like that. So invite a friend as we move along this afternoon on the Hard Talk. Having said that, let me take down the theme song a little bit and join my colleague, Anthony J. Van. Good afternoon. Good to be here. Today is a holiday, Fast and Prayer Day, and we are here.
Yes, of course. This is what we love doing best. Others we love preaching, others we love to speak in the interest of the people, like Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. Many a times people say he's a poor man lawyer. But then we love disseminating information to our people. We believe that information is key to everything. And so that's why we're here, even on the holiday. We have to be here to help our people out.
Great.
And so with that being said, our wise voice for today says, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. And so you don't pray to have everything bread and butter, but pray that when difficulty comes, you are able to overcome.
Jesus even said similar to his disciples. He said it's not going to be easy.
Anyway, it's on the fast and prayer day. So you can preach now.
No, I'm not preaching. I mean, that is scripture, right?
Yes, of course.
Jesus said that to his disciples.
Yes.
So good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1. Tiawan Williams is my name, and my colleague is Anthony J. Van. We have in studio two members of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia. And
yes. Presidential hopeful.
Tiawan, of course, yes. Presidential hopeful Councillor Tiawan Gongloe.
We need to clarify that. Okay. We are not members of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia.
We'll come to that.
We are members of MOJA, the Movement for Justice.
Yes,
we'll come to that. We'll come to that. Yeah, we'll come to that. Anyway, you are off mark. Let's bring you on. Okay. Good afternoon, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe.
Good afternoon. It's good to be in your studio. Last time I appeared in your studio, you were up on Broad Street.
Yeah, great.
And now you have a better studio. Congratulations.
Thank you. We also have Mr. John Stewart also joining us. He's a member of MOJA. And Councillor Gongloe is also a member of MOJA.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
How does it feel being here today? The both of you.
Great. Well, I say a moment of silence for the hundreds of people who were killed on April 14. we know that we claim that government killed 200, government admitted to killing 40. And those 40 were buried in mass graves behind the public works.
Okay.
Even up to today, their parents, their family members still consider them missing in action because the government did not display the body to ask their family members to come and identify the body so that they can be given decent burials. And that action of the government was irresponsible.
Okay.
Yeah.
To begin the conversation, Councillor Gongloe, let's talk about your presidential bid you've been cutting across the country, specifically Nima and other areas. How has it been?
It's been good. It can never be anything than good because, you know, the people are the custodians of power. You want power, and the reason you want power, you have to go to them to tell them so that they can give it to you, you know, willingly to be convinced. And so I'm raising the bar in presidential politics. People usually go to they stay in the capital city of Monrovia, of Liberia, which is Monrovia, and then they go to the county capitals. I am going to the villages.
Okay.
You know, people in Jakaken, Roji will tell you, Councillor Gongloe came here. People in Dwaken, Roji will tell you. People in Pakwai town, across the river in Riverses will tell you. People in Bogeza will tell you, Councillor Gongloe came here. People in Zina Lomai or Wapping Hill will tell you. People in Pasagizia will tell you. People in Waniahun. People in Foya or Bakidu, where I slept. The Badingo town will tell you. In Lofa County, people in Benacole, in Bon County will tell you, or in Fokole, Bon County, or Cambo Town, Riverses, or Sud Town, Grand Bazaar.
You mean you've been to all of those areas?
Yes, these areas of the main roads in the, you know, yeah. So many towns I've been to.
Wow.
Yeah, I can name towns comfortably across I've been to Sastown, the president's.
Sastown, Grand Creek County.
Yes, the president's hometown.
Okay.
But, you know, I don't think he had childhood friends there. But I went to Sastown. I went to Belwan.
Okay.
I went to Dubo. You know, I went to Sidiken, which is the oldest town in Maryland County. It's the first town in Maryland. That's where the Creole people came from and spread all over Maryland.
Okay.
I was told that. But most important in my view, and I selected towns they lived in, I slept in Tucson, the hometown of former President Samuel Doe.
Wow.
As a Nimba person, that is significant in terms of unity and reconciliation.
Okay.
I slept in Tucson. I slept in Zwale, that's the home of the late General Thomas Kurumpa. I went to Pinestown, that's the home of the late Wesien, vice chairman of the first vice chairman of the PRC.
Okay.
You know, so I've been to Glole, the hometown of Jackson Ebdo, and I consider Glole in Nimba County as the political shrine of Nimba, and because that's the first place where the son of Nimba came from and ran for the presidency, so it's historic. I've been going all over the country. I stepped in Nagbena in Cape Mount County.
Okay.
You know, I went to Herringstown in Bapolo County. I slept in Supplement Town in Bapolo County.
Wow.
You know,
You're familiar with all of the names of those towns.
And the worst experience was leaving Kilipo Kanweken to go to Bipo Kanweken in River G.
Okay.
Normally, it is a distance of 20 minutes to 30 minutes when the road is good. And I've done that road since 1979 because in 1979, I wanted to do some work for the Young Christian Student Movement as their president, national president. Okay. And I took a car a taxi from Hapo, 6 o'clock in the morning. About 9 p.m., I was in Monrovia. It does not happen these days. It cannot happen. From Kilipo Kanweken, I had an event that ended at 5 o'clock in Kilipo Kanweken. I sent my motorcycle man had to say, tell the people of Republican Weekend will be there at 6 o'clock. They were indeed waiting. My brother, I did not reach Republican Weekend until 1 a.m. in the morning because of bad road.
Okay.
Very bad road. I think there's a picture of me on the YouTube, throwing shovels. I was not joking. We had to to intervene. And then when I went further on the road, I saw over 20 cars parked. Tankers, gas tankers, trucks, all stuck in the mud. The 3 cars we were carrying could not pass. We stayed there until 12:30 in the night before our cars passed through, and we actually left around 12:45 to reach around 1 a.m. in the morning. I cut some leaves around 9 o'clock because I was so sleepy and put them on the ground and I was sleeping. They actually woke me around 12:30 and said, oh, the cars are off. That's how bad the roads in the southeast are now. And this is dry season. Right now the roads are worse than I've seen anywhere in Africa. It's not fair to the poor southeast. And in Tiawan, I was saying, the president from the southeast and the minister of finance is from the southeast. And one young man cut me up and said, Councillor Gongloe, the entire government is from the southeast. They are just not treating us fairly.
I was just about to ask you about the reception.
Great reception.
You gathered from all of those
Great
towns
reception. And the high point was Tuzon.
Tuzon.
They were excited.
Nigeria County.
They were excited that as a son of Nimba, I went to Tuzon and they offered me to sleep, and I slept the whole night. They danced. They cooked food.
Wow.
My delegation, by 9 o'clock, event was finished. They cooked food. By 11 o'clock, my delegation ate the food and left, and food left over. All right? And I went to Bablota in Granjula. I was well received. It's up the mirror, about 30 minutes up the mirror. When I went to Jackaken, I was well received. When I went to Philadelphia, Gold Mining, coming Grand Crew, I was well received. Everywhere I went, I was well received. And the reason, there were 2 reasons. One reason was, we've never seen a presidential aspirant come to our town.
Okay.
So for them, it was historic. They were happy about it. Second reason was my plan. I tell them, look, under my government, pregnant women, children under the age of 5, and all old people, all Liberians 65 years or up, will go to government hospital and clinic free of charge. You clap for that. I say, under my government, children from kindergarten to 12th grade will go to school free of charge with government providing copybooks, pencils, pens, textbooks, and free food. They clap for that. I say, we would eliminate illiteracy in 2 years by making junior high students, high school students, and college students teach at least 10 persons in their communities after school for a stipend every month. They clap for that because I tell them, if you don't read and write, you can't use the phone. If you can't use the phone today, you're not living in the world. And I tell them that the young people are riding motorbikes and digging gold. That cannot be their life. I will change that story by putting free trade schools in each of the 15 counties for the young people to learn mechanic work, masonry, carpentry, tailoring work, all this, so they can have an alternative and a sustainable means of living. When I tell them that we'll put the public work yards back in all of the counties so that the roads can be constantly maintained as they were maintained in 1979 when I came from Kibamos to Monrovia without any hitch. The idea that people cannot go to Lofa during the rainy season, using car, people cannot go to the southeast during the rainy season or Bapolo, is a new idea that is based on complete negligence by the government. It is the government obligation to make sure that people move freely. It's a violation of freedom of movement. And the last thing I would do is I would change Liberia's story from being a rice importer to a rice exporter.
Okay.
By mechanizing rice production.
I'm concerned about your county, the county you hear from, Nimba County. How is the reception there?
Great.
Are you
all started
the support from the Lions?
Oh yes, big time. It all started.
Some of those big names in Nimba County, are they supporting you?
Well,
the likes of Senator Johnson.
He has a different party. We are in a democracy. The election is not by county, right? Even people in the country have different political parties, and we should respect that. But majority of the people in the county are very happy that I stepped forward They see me like Jackson Hebdo. Everybody say, okay, since Jackson Hebdo in 1985, who cut across the country, we have another son of Nimba who is loved in other parts of the country. Like in Grand Judah, they call me Pulion, which means Savior. Okay. In Maryland, they call me Waamu, which means bless us. In Cape Mount, they call me Tolian, stay with us. These are all lovely names. Okay. In Grand Bassana, I'm called Ghana. The mayor has come.
Ghana G.
Yeah, Ghana Yi. So they are very excited that they have a son of Nimba who they alone don't love exclusively, because even if Nimba votes for you 100%, you cannot be president.
What difference will you make when you are elected president of Liberia? What would be the difference?
I will change Liberia's story for the better. I want to be the project manager to change Liberia's story for the better, to make this country truly a sweet land of liberty for all. And Liberia, my dream is, I see Liberia as a rich country, naturally rich, that denies itself of the wealth on election day by electing people for burger rice, money, and liquor. A country that has fertile soil. You know, you can grow rice one place for 4 years in this country without using fertilizer, and you will get good yield. And the soil has diamond, gold, iron ore, uranium, and you name it. So we cannot qualify as a naturally poor country. Our poverty is based on our mismanagement by the leaders we elect. Okay. There's no way that you take your brand new Mercedes-Benz and you say you are tired with the mechanics and take it to a carpenter and expect that will be fixed.
What are you insinuating?
I'm insinuating that I just told you, people who are elected to power don't know what to do and don't love the country. You know, otherwise this country would be much better than Botswana, that only has diamond and 30% of its land, that is arable land, is a landlocked country, but is well managed because according to Transparency International, it is the least corrupt country in Africa. But they have good leaders. 70% of the land area of Botswana is desert, and they only have one mineral resource. It's called diamond, and they are using that mineral resource to the extent that everybody who has been to Botswana will say, great infrastructure. They think you're in Europe, good educational system, health system on top, and they feed themselves. You know, not all of it, but they are using that 30% to feed a good bit of the people. They're less than 3 million people. But on a small parcel of land, 30%, they are raising cows, sheep, and goats, and they are exporting meat to Southern Africa. Great management. If we had even halfway of that management attitude of our leaders here, Liberia will be counted among the richest countries in the world. And that is the reality that I want to bring. That if this country is properly managed, all Liberians will enjoy the natural wealth of this country.
Traveling around Liberia, some of the counties, you have a direct experience with the Bearer Road network. Councillor Gongloe, what other experience do you have with the people across Liberia in terms of challenges that they face with?
90% of the towns don't have hand pumps. Even where hand pumps were placed by some NGOs, they've broken down a long time, and government has not stepped in to rehabilitate the hand pumps. I went to towns where people were drinking well water and running water. You know, I drank some of the well water in some of the towns in southeastern Liberia. You have to be politically correct. So they bring you the cola nut and pepper and salt, and then they bring the water from the bucket, and they're giving cups of water. Everybody will drink it, and then I drank some. All right. In fact, the funny thing is I don't drink alcohol, but it was in southeastern Liberia that I drank small cane juice, to be correct, because they give you the cola nut, and the rule is that if you don't eat the cola nut and drink what they drink, then they will not talk to you. It means you don't accept them.
That's the tradition.
I drank at least a stopper full of cane juice, and then I had great conversation. But yeah, that's one of the things. Drinking water. And of course, like I said, everywhere I went, I tell people, I say, I want to change your life here and make Liberia a rice exporter and bring more, make you produce more rice by government giving machines, tractors, caterpillars, and combine harvesters to all the farmers through the country, in the country through the farmers cooperatives in the 15 counties. Then you will now use cutlasses and the hard time of using cutlasses and hoe. And nobody can use cutlasses and hoe and produce even 4 clean bags of rice. So by the end of April, everywhere in Liberia, people will be going out of rice. So we need to change the mode of production, and that's mechanizing.
As a lawyer.
So people are really catching on. And then the other thing people are concerned about is a hardman business. All across the country, are talking about ritualistic killings. They are afraid to send their wives to the farm alone. I know growing up in Mela, going to Mela public school, my mom used to tell me at the age of 7, when you come from school, come meet me on the farm, your food will be there. And when I tell the people the story, hey, that thing can happen here again. Then you want your child to die, your child alone walk on the and I conclude that all this hardman business is still connected to this high level of corruption. The fact that representative senator can get $30,000, everybody want to be senator. You are checking. Every district in this country now has more than 5 legislative candidates. And what increased it is the $30,000 that they received in 2021 and 2022. It makes them, it will change your life immediately. So everybody want to be, and people want to be minister, and state people want to be managing director. So you go to a witch doctor and say, I really want to be the president to appoint me managing director. Bring me him up in high. I really want to win this legislative seat. Bring me him up in labor. I want to be minister.
Is that what you think?
That's what I think. But why 1979, the people they executed, you may not have been born or you're small, but all of them were big shots who were trying to maintain their position or get elevated. Superintendent, representative, they're all big shots in government. So it's all around this, and that's why I say this proof, when we eliminate, when we sweep corruption from Liberia, not only will we have enough money to deliver social services, have good road, increase rice production, have good schools, good medical facilities and all that, but Liberians will be safer because there will be no more incentive to kill people secretly and engage in all the ritualistic killing is for ritual to get rich through getting government jobs to make free money through corruption.
As a lawyer, Councillor Gongloe, what will you say about the judiciary branch of government, or how do you intend to see that branch of government when you are elected president?
I've spoken about that a lot. Even people in the judiciary have spoken about it. There have been, heads of the judiciary who have said the judiciary is corrupt. We have heard
that's the general perception.
President of the Trial Judges Association say the judiciary is corrupt. So we have to deal with that. And the way to deal with that is to promote the independence of the judiciary.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I will issue an executive order in the first 100 days.
Okay.
And the executive order will be any minister or official of the executive branch of government. They are the ones that usually very often, influence magistrates and all that to bring their big. If you interfere with the independence of the judiciary, you'll be dismissed immediately. All right? And you could be held accountable, you could be charged for obstruction of government function, all of that. Then I will also issue an executive order that no official of government will interfere with police operation. Every country that is governed by rule of law must let the police do its work without interference. The police can never be professional in a country where big shots force the police to do selective application of the law, selective enforcement of the law. And that's why they say in this country, you know who I am? So in a country like the United States, they're not perfect, but when a senator in the United States commits a traffic offense, you get the same ticket that a janitor gets when he commits a traffic offense. That is the kind of thing I want to bring in this country. That everybody is under the rule of law and that no one is above the rule of law. Not even the president should be above the rule of law.
Okay.
Well, Councillor Gongloe is our guest, but we are here with him with Mr. John Stewart, a member of the Progressive, and they are all from the movement for
And both of us
justice.
are members of the Liberian People's Party, a party that came out of Moja.
Okay, Moja is a movement for justice in Africa. Yeah. Now we driving a little bit down to the infamous Rest riot, even though they have different nomenclature for that riot, but history has carried it. It is, or it was, a Rest riot in Liberia that left many persons dead in over 500,000, according to reports. Over 500 persons were injured. Councillor Gongloe, today is April 14. How do you view today?
April 14 was really sad, and a sad contradiction for a country that had in its 1847 Constitution the right of the people to peaceably assemble and the right of the people to seek redress from the government, which was what the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, led by Gabriel Marcus Matthews, was doing in protest to the increment in the price of rice. At that time, soldiers were making $22. There was civil servants making very low money, maybe $20, $30. Okay. And they were increasing the price of rice to $30. That would be taking away somebody's home on salary, and you still have rent to pay and all of that. And so it was, the government explanation was that increasing the price of rice would have motivated the farmers to produce more. Okay. But that was false. That was a flawed argument, because my father and mother growing rice in the interior with cutlasses and hoe could never have increased their production once they were using the same mode of production. You know, cutlasses and hoe. Government were not assisting farmers with machines or anything to increase the yields on their farm. So, but we know that there was a rice importer in this country. The largest distributor of rice in the country at that time was Daniel Talbot, the brother of the president. So we saw in it a policy that was meant to benefit a family member, because Daniel Talbot was a rice importer and he was supplying rice all over. So he will have benefited from an increment in the price of rice, because he will have sold more rice. Okay. Not the farmers in the interior.
But Councillor, yeah, go ahead. Anyway, go ahead.
No, so that policy came out, especially with people, civil servants were making low salaries, the soldiers and all of that, and it showed during the demonstration. The police officers were making maybe $60 about that time, and they were more pro-government, and the soldiers were anti-government, at least the non-commissioned officers at that level. Because when the police started shooting at us, the demonstrators, I was demonstrating on that day. Me and the former director of the archives, Blossai, we still call each other partners today, because two of us were in the crowd. People were being shot by near us, a lot of people got wounded. We just got saved by the grace of God. And then the soldiers started shooting at the police right down Bruce quarters, because the soldiers identify with the protest more than the police because of their pay level. Okay. But maybe Stewart can say more. I was a demonstrator. Fortunately, I didn't go to jail. Stewart went to jail, so he can tell you. But that's how he got to jail and what happened in jail, because I was outside.
Before we go to Mr. Stewart, Councillor Gongloe, let me know from you, what did you people achieve then by staging that protest?
You know, we achieved something. The president of Liberia set up a special commission headed by a seasoned lawyer, Councillor Nettie C. Brownell. Okay. And the investigation showed that there were people in government that were conflicted. James T. Phillips, Minister of Finance, was removed from office as a result of the commission's report. the Minister of Agriculture, under whose administration the price of rice was increased.
You mean Florence Chinoway?
Yes, was dismissed. The Minister of Justice,
Okay.
Oliver Bright, who ordered the police to shoot at the demonstrators, was dismissed.
Okay.
Which means people in government did wrong. And actually the family members of those who were killed on April 14, on the basis of that report alone, can really could have filed and could still file damages suit against the government, because the government acknowledged that its principal actors were wrong.
Okay. It is perceived that.
So it helped the government to look inwards.
Okay.
The government was challenged to critically examine itself, which was an achievement.
And then it is perceived that many of you who were actively involved in activism were the ones who instigated most of the violence in the country.
That is not
Do you
true.
agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. Because the demonstration had money, me and Bloodside, for example, were armless, were moving. And that is what really exposed President Talbot. Because you see, how can government shoot at armless people? We at the University of Liberia were idealistic, we're learning political science and talking about the rights of the people, reading the Constitution. We were just marching peacefully to go and tell President Talbot, do not increase the price of rice, given the level of poverty. It was a peaceful democratic exercise
Okay.
that was made violent by the government. So we did not begin violence at all. We were intellectuals, we were scholars, we were looking at, the Constitution provides for this. And we're going by the letter and spirit of the Constitution. And we want our president to speak to, and let me tell you that we had great respect for President Talbot. Stewart and myself were students. You remember when
Yeah, it was no weeks at a time. It was no weeks.
But no, Bush was not president, but he was on the board.
Oh yes,
He
yes,
was
yes,
on the
yes,
board.
Yes.
And we heard that blah blah. So we carried a petition. It was read by Global College, who in of Liberia to Guinea. All of us are doing acting different. So she read a petition that day. And I remember after reading the petition, the president said, President Thomas said, and he shook all of our hands as we entered his office, right? He said, I can't tell you I will not increase the price of the tuition because I have to respect the board. But I'm happy that you people brought petition to me because I heard you people are going to demonstrate. But you people acted responsibly as university students. Truly, my precious jurors, you brought a petition to me. This is orderly. So I don't promise that the tuition will be increased, but I will intervene on your behalf to the board. I will talk to the president of the board of trustees, Richard Harris, Speaker Richard Harris, and other members of the board, so that they don't increase. But I don't promise you that will happen, but I will intervene. And then he started a discussion. He said, I think we need to do more for the students. I think it was Stewart who raised it. He said, and there's even unemployment evolving among the students because some students graduate from Cotton and talking about they don't have jobs. And then Stewart said, but why don't we do this national service that is in Nigeria?
Okay.
And then President Talbot said, I'm just giving how he was an intellectual. He would discuss with people all of that. That April 14 didn't present him well. It was a misstep because Oliver Bright was a very emotional person, And so he said, then Stewart said, then everybody graduates, you get a job. Then President Thomas said, oh yeah, then you pay, at least you pay you $150, the students $150, you graduate. Then Stewart said, no, at least $300. We had that kind of lively discussion. So he was largely a good person, all right? But I think he was caught between the conservatives and and we were putting pressure to open up the society and he wanted to change, but he didn't feel strong enough to just move and leave the old guys behind, and became a victim of that indecision.
Okay, so let's go to Mr. John Stewart. Mr. Stewart is also a member of Moja. He witnessed the riot. He was part of it as well. Let's give us your own account, Mr. Stewart. Let's hear you.
He was even jail.
Yes.
Well, prior to the April 14th, the Movement of Justice in Africa was holding an anniversary program at the Sports Commission. That was on the 18th of March. And as usual, during those programs, we invite speakers to make remarks, including officials of government. And on that day, Mr. Bacchus Matthews.
In fact, I'm not cutting you. October was a registered member of Moja.
Yes.
And other members of the government joined Moja actually from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So you formed your own.
So, you see, Moja was the liberation support movement
For
for
Southern Africa,
Southern Africa.
and Angola, other places.
Okay.
And President Toba was in support of the liberation Southern Africa, Angola, other places.
Okay.
And that's why we're speaking well against apartheid. In fact, he had a liberation fund. So, you know.
And don't forget that in 1960, Liberia and Ethiopia took South Africa to the World Court.
Yeah.
You know, so
The
they had this
International Court of
tradition of
Justice.
supporting the liberation movements.
Okay.
Nelson Mandela came here, got a Liberian passport. Several other came here and were supported. But the thing here is that
Mariam Makiba lived here.
yes,
Yeah, Hugh Masekela lived here.
yes, Nina Simone lived here.
Okay.
We had a professor at the University of Vuzmake.
Vusumzi Make, he was married to Maya Angelou, and Maya Angelou came to the University of Liberia, and the late Professor Agnes von Bormus, who was director of the University of Chorus, invited her, and she met with us. We had long discussions, but at the time I had no idea that she had been married to Professor Vusumzi Make.
Okay.
You know, a very big man from South Africa. So, but a lot of these people came, Stokely Carmichael, Sam Nyoma, we hosted all these by the university.
Yeah.
Coming back to the Res Riots, at the program, at the Sports Commission, when Mr. Bacchus Matthews announced that his organization, the Progressive Alliance, was going to hold a protest demonstration against the price of rice on the 14th of April. And this was on the 18th of March, we had this program. And it was received with very wild applause. Why? Because times are tough, difficult. At the time, the Ministry of Planning, in its official reports, noted that the average family of 4 or 5 in Monrovia needed an income of at least $125 a month to be able to survive. But you had families, 4, 5, 6, 7, making $22 a month. And I say so because in the military, they were the lowest paid. Yes.
Making $22 US.
$22 American dollars a month.
Why?
Why?
That was the currency we had.
That was the currency we had.
Okay.
And that was the pay structure. I worked as a customs officer from 1973 to 75, and my salary was $77.66.
Okay.
But
As a custom officer.
As a customs officer.
Okay.
All right. Now imagine, and I was supposed to be among those who were better paid. But a soldier, $22 a month, and I was in the militia at the time. We used to joke our colleagues, fighting for bony tail, the PFC rank. They used to call it. Jokingly they call it bony tail, to get $25 a month. People taking their salary of $22, giving it to the commanding officer to be able to get a rank of a bony tail, PFC, just one strike.
Okay.
So these were the conditions. And when Bacchus made this announcement, the government came and said, look, President Tubman wrote a letter to Bacchus Matthews and said, we want you, he wanted Bacchus to lead a people's delegation to the mansion to discuss the rights issue.
Okay.
At the time, I was chairman of national affairs at the University of Liberia, Student Union. So I led the Liberian, the university student delegation to the mansion along with others. And we met with the president.
Okay.
The Minister of Agriculture, Florence Chinelu, was there. She spoke, defending reasons why the price of rice should increase. Besides,
What did she say?
She says it was justified. It was going to stimulate productivity.
Okay.
It was to stimulate productivity, so Liberian farmers, knowing that they will get more, they will produce more.
Okay.
But the drawback was that these people were using age-old implements. The implements of production were very primitive. And using those implements of production, they couldn't.
Okay.
Now, mind you, in the elite, there were people who had big farms. James T. Phillips, the Minister of Finance, had a large expense. Yes. The Minister of Finance, the previous Minister of Finance at the time, Stephen Tupper, the brother of the president, also had a big farm. President Tupper himself had a big farm.
Okay.
The Speaker of the House had a big farm. They all have big rice farms.
Okay.
So if the price of rice had increased, they were going to be the direct beneficiaries. And if the price of rice increased, those who were going to have spin-off negative effects on the rest of the population, particularly amongst the soldiers. You making $22 a month and you got to pay $15 for a bag of rice. How much you have to put clothes on your children and send them to school and all of that.
Exactly.
So we went to the mansion, we met with the president. We made our representations, we begged him, implored him not to increase the price of rice. He said, okay, we'll hear from you.
Okay.
We never heard from the president again. And until the day of, as the rice riots approached. Now, at that time, during that period, we were also in
the day of protest. Don't use that riot.
Yeah. It was the police riots, actually. It was the police that invaded the PAL headquarters, firing tear gas and shooting up people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why tear gas.
So
That's how the whole thing spark out.
You were marching to the
no, before the march. What? Anyway, but we're having a reorganizational congress of the Liberian National Student Union at Cottington. We tried to reorganize the Liberian National Student Union, but we had faced so many obstacles from the government. At the time, the Minister of Youth and Sports was Mr. Estrada Bernard, and they were vehemently opposed to the idea of National Student Union. But we outwitted the government because we went and did our research and found out that the Liberian Student Union was, Liberian National Student Union, LINSU, was founded in 1959 and enacted into law. So we pulled that out. In fact, they wanted the U.S. Student Union to dovetail into FLY. We said, no, we already enacted into law and got this. So that's how we remain standing. So we're having a reorganizational congress, inviting at the time other colleges, like Ricks had a junior college. Cottington was not in the initial formation, but Cottington and the Tiawan College. No, Tiawan College. Yeah. So we're at Cottington. The student leadership, part of the student leadership was at Cottington, and part was in Monrovia. I was one of those who were at Cottington. And on the day of the riots was the day that we had elections for our leadership. And we were monitoring the radio and we heard the news that all these things are happening. In Monrovia, they were shooting. But prior to then, we had received reports that the government was going to they were going to shoot. Some contacts in the security went to us. Yeah. So the point here is that, so this was the case. What do we do to influence government or influence of people to call the demonstration off? Because we had the information that the government was going to shoot. So by that time, there was only one radio station, two radio stations, ELWA, ELBC.
All right.
And people conceived to be opposition elements could not have access to the public radio. ELWA could not broadcast anything political, only news.
So this thing has been happening way back.
News from Lena.
News from Lena. So we said, okay, how to get the message out? In fact, the best thing to do is to go, the Moja leadership decided to go to meet with the PAL leadership, Bagas Matthews.
Progressive Alliance.
Yes. So when we got to the PAL headquarters that evening, around about 8 o'clock, the place was very crowded. and we decided to discuss, but there was no way to discuss. So we decided, okay, let's go for confidentiality purposes. Let's go into the cemetery. You Backers, you bring your top people, we will bring our people, and we'll go into the cemetery to discuss, because there was so much a lot of noise, people, you know. So we went
to play now how you would engage.
not to play, well, to discuss the information that we had gathered, that they were going to be shooting the government troops were going to open fire and kill people.
Okay.
So we said we have to call this demonstration off.
Okay.
Because of the reports we were receiving that government is going to open fire. And we had this information from top security sources. From the government itself. There were people in government who didn't like the line of action. Oliver Bright, the Minister of Justice, was one of those who was pushing that line. That you know, they should pay, that you should set example. This thing was going too far, they should set example. So we met and we talked about it. And the reaction of Backers Matthews, was that we'll hold this demonstration anyway. If the government kills 200 people today, tomorrow we'll go back. We'll do that until the government resigns. So Dr. Formula said, look.
Backers Matthews said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Formula said, no, this is not practical, because we don't have anything to defend the people. So we can't put the people out there in the streets.
At risk.
So the best thing to do is to call off. Eventually, he agreed, Matthews agreed to the suggestion, we'll call a demonstration off. But how to get this message across?
Okay.
At the time, the old man Port, Albert Port, the late Albert Port,
Albert Port,
was commuting between the mansion, the leaderships of both organizations on how to call this demonstration off. And he wrote in his pamphlet, the day Monrovia stood still after, recounting all of those developments. He went to Bentonville, where President Tubber was, pleading with him, Mr. President, I hear you're going to use force to crush this demonstration. Please don't. And Oman Port's account in the, as recorded in the day Monrovia stood still, the president, he went to his knees. The president said to him, government cannot afford to look weak. Later on, after the riots, the disturbances,
government cannot afford to look weak.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means that
they will not succumb or what?
Yeah, there was pressure, and to say that you will not increase the price of rice was to make government look weak.
No, don't shoot.
Yeah.
At the people. The reaction was government cannot appear
to look weak. And then President Tubber said,
don't shoot at the people.
And President Tubber later said on record, he ordered his security forces to shoot at the lower extremities, meaning the legs. But you tell a soldier shoot the legs, they'll be the stomach.
Of course.
You know? So
you even get cripples. Well, yeah.
Yes. So we had that engagement, but we couldn't get the message out to the people. Couldn't get the message out to the people that the riots. But in the meantime, people were converging at Barry headquarters.
In fact, let me
so the difficulty then was to get the message across.
Right. Yes. Let me say this.
You did not have the medium to.
Actually, it was the government that promoted the demonstration.
Oh, how?
Yes. The government 2 days towards the demonstration was like every 5 minutes news flash. We have called upon the Liberian people not to come out on April 14, on Saturday, April 14 to demonstrate. But that they were actually promoting the demonstration.
On the national broadcast.
Yes.
And they were also asking you to stay off the streets to avoid what happens.
I am saying at that time, the leadership would stay away. But how were the people in Gardensville, the group that came from Gardensville, the leadership had no way to get on the radio to explain, because that's the only authentic voice they were listening to.
How did you pass on the information in the first place?
Oh, the information was passed out in a community with leaflets.
There you go. You that same medium to.
Not at that hour.
During that hour, it was tense now, and the only thing that could have reached the majority of the people was the eve of the demonstration, which was April 13, when all of these discussions are being held, was the radio.
Okay.
But I think
so you were denied the radio.
Yeah.
But I think, have you agreed with the government that indeed we're not going to protest? Give us time on the radio. Let's tell the people that indeed the protest or our action will be another time.
No, but you're assuming that there was this kind of dialogue going on. There was no such dialogue. After we met with the president and he said he was going to get back to us, he never got back to us.
Okay.
And on the eve of the demonstration on April 13th, he sent for university student leadership.
Yeah.
Because the university student leadership had produced a leaflet calling all university students to rally up to support the march.
Yes.
Okay.
You see? So they sent for the student leadership and at
V12, I missed that meeting. I had just come to town.
yes. I was in town, but I didn't go to that meeting. I was on my way to Connington. I didn't go to that meeting. But our vice president of the student union, Tiawan Gongloe, went to the meeting.
But Dusty had gone to
Yes.
Togo for a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And Dusty Olukole was the student council president.
Dr. George Bulle was assistant minister of education at the time. So when they got to the mansion, they took the leaflet and gave it to Dr. George Bulle to read. Bravo, bravo, bravo. All students in the university turn out to support the demonstration. That's basically the essence of what I read.
Yeah.
But that meeting was very tense
Very.
because they...
And the Dr. Merrington and Brian Sherman, the president of the university, were invited to that.
Yes. And she was
meeting.
firm
And
that...
the government was there.
Yes. And so they asked who published this leaflet. So the acting president of the student government, Tiawan Gongloe, stood up and said, I take responsibility, Mr. President. Then the brother of the president,
And Frank Tower.
Frank Tower, said,
You irresponsible Chigafi.
first he asked, he said, what your name? My name's Tiawan Gongloe. What grade you in? Tiawan told him, said, I'm a senior.
I think the president.
He said, you said I'm damn irresponsible jigger-free.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes. But it was very tense. The demonstration was on 14th. And on the 14th, I true to what they were saying, that information we gathered that they were going to be shooting, there was shooting.
Okay.
So at the Congress, we had to close the Congress earlier than anticipated. Now, attending the Congress were international representatives. One from the International Student Union, one was Russian, one was Senegalese, and another was from Hungary.
Okay.
They came, they were arrested.
Who arrested them?
The government. Dusty Wolokoli had attended the student program reorganization and All Africa Student Union meeting in Lomé, Togo. And from Lomé, Togo, he came along with that delegation that came to witness our reorganizational congress.
All right.
And so they were arrested. The NSA published leaflets. Archie Williams, you has copies of those leaflets now. He can show them to you. He got it in his collection. Yes. That we had come from Dusty had come from Lomé with subversive elements. My home was raided.
Okay.
My room was looted. My mother was detained. They sent...
And she was working with the government then, right?
No, she was just an ordinary teacher.
Yeah, okay.
Just an ordinary teacher, but she was detained. She was going to Banga because she hadn't seen me. We went to Banga, and we coming back from Banga after the April 14th thing, we had to go into hiding. So she hadn't seen me. She decided to go. She didn't know where I was. And when she was going to Banga to go find where I was, and she was arrested on the highway, interrogated for hours, made her sit down on the ground for hours. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, it was the government that actually reacted.
Okay. Promoted.
Yes, promoted it, and then we were the victims. And then after that, there was mass arrest. My name, that of Marcus Matthews, Samuel Jackson, Oscar Quia, James Yasia were placed on a wanted list, 5,000 wanted poster list. Reward, 5,000 reward.
And you guys were in hiding.
We're in hiding. So we decided, and Oman Port had made contact with us where we were in hiding. Said, look, the best thing to do is to give you, it's for you guys to turn yourselves in, but that then gives some guarantees that you will not be shot on sight. So we wrote the president a letter. Said, Mr. President, we would like to turn ourselves in based on the announcements you got on the radio. But because we don't want to be victimized by any bounty hunter looking for $5,000, we want guarantees of safety. We turn ourselves in. We'll be prepared to face any court trial.
Okay.
On my port, the late John Conway, we were hiding at the home of Miss Muriel Best in Pingsville.
Okay.
Mr. Kenneth Best's sister.
All right.
I come and visit myself. And from there, we were coordinating things, student movement. We were able to send one student leader, Boyma Soni, out of the country. He went to the BBC, and we were able to get some messages to the Pope. The Pope sent messages.
Yes.
Because it was clear. There were plans to show firm examples. I mean, kill some people and everything will be all right. So, when we turned ourselves in, we were taken to the mansion by a delegation, Bishop Brown, Reverend Tomo Reeves, Woman Port, all of that. And when we got to the mansion, there was a whole array of government officials. The speaker, the only official who was not there, but came in later after the meeting started, was Bishop Warner, who was the vice president. But Madam Sirleaf, I'm not too sure. It's been a long time now, but the entire cabinet, everybody was there. When Bishop
Madam
Brown...
Sirleaf was not a minister yet.
No, she was not a minister yet.
She was a minister. She became minister after the Brunel Commission report, and her boss, because she was deputy minister, was James T. Philip, was removed in the mayor minister.
So Councillor Gongloe, lives were lost during this protest organized by you and others. Do you regret those lives?
Well, let me say.
Look, we regret the lives, the death, and we could have died ourselves. But we don't take responsibility for that. It was a government irresponsible act. They overreacted. The late Bishop Francis said, between Toba and Tubman, Tubman was repressive, but he was a politician. Because I understand that the 1955 march, similar march was in 1955. They said Tubman came out and joined the protesters and danced with them and calmed the tension. And in the night when everybody was sleeping, pick up the ringleaders of the demonstration, which then was different. His strategy did not cause life like that.
With the anger in your faces, would you have allowed Toba to join you in that march?
Which anger?
Which anger?
The rest were increased.
Oh, look, every time we saw President Toba, people would like to see their leaders. When President Toba come and say, yeah, when you say, want to receive your petition, all of that, the petition would have been received.
Councillor Gongloe, I heard you mention the conservatives. Who were the conservatives in all of this?
You mentioned one.
All right.
Frank Talbot, Richard Harris, the hardcore of the Tree Party.
Let me tell you something.
Wow.
While we were in prison, we were arrested.
How long were you in prison, Mr. Stewart?
I was in prison from April 22nd to June 26th. June 26th, President Talbot declared general amnesty.
April 22nd.
You know the reason OAU was coming?
To June 26th.
To June 26th.
Wow.
President Talbot declared general amnesty on June 26th in a speech to the nation.
Yeah.
And but prior to then, while we were detained, we had still not been charged.
And it was prior to OAU, right?
Yes, it was prior to OAU. And we were detained for about a week. And Omen Port wanted to see us. He said, I learned that the government is going to appoint, first he said, I learned that Councillor Chesson will be coming here.
Lawyer prior to you.
Yes. Chesson was lawyer for PAL, P-A-L.
Okay.
So he came to the prison. Yeah. We didn't hold any substantive discussions with him. And at the prison, it was the only person who was not in the prison with us from the hierarchy of the Progressive Alliance was Marcus Matthews. He was detained at the NSA.
Okay.
But the rest of us were detained at the Central Prison.
He was a lead man in this whole campaign.
Yes.
Marcus Matthews.
Yes.
Yeah. So while we're detained there, then they brought the writ.
So where was that October Antipote?
He was not arrested.
Okay.
He was not arrested.
But he was part of the protest.
Dr. Formula was arrested.
Okay.
He was actually,
This brother from
he was in Granger at Pudiko.
Pudeko?
Yeah, inspecting the Suzuku rice project there.
Okay.
So he was not in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not arrested.
So I want you to then look at 1979 res situation. Challenges Liberians were faced with, leading to your uprising against the government of President Togo.
Please correct.
Protest.
Protest.
Okay, protest. Leading to your protest.
Moja
Leading
Mere.
to your peaceful march, as
Yes.
you will want to
Yes,
call it.
yes. It was
Which
peaceful.
But we didn't have arms.
which dramatically degenerated to something else.
Who opened fire? We were not carrying arms.
Compare those days to
The government saw you
today,
as a threat.
when you still see Liberia
So you as
in
instigators.
in the dungeon of poverty.
Oh, let me just say one thing.
And
Let me just say one thing. At the time, in 1979, 3% of the population was accounting for more than 60% of gross national product, GDP, gross domestic product. 3% of the population. Meaning,
they were enjoying all the money.
only a few people were eating everything.
Okay.
Today, it's even less than 2% of the population accounting for more than 60% of GDP. And we see it. You can see it. We all see it. Just a few people enjoying.
Today, back then, about 3%.
Yeah,
of
3
the
to 4%.
population- 3 to 4% of the population was enjoying the entire country resources. That's what you mean.
Right.
When you talk about
The bulk of it.
Okay. And today, less than 2%.
Yeah.
2% or less than that.
Yeah.
Are
That means that
are enjoying.
And besides that, income inequality has increased.
Okay. So
The gap is widening.
I want you to.
So
I
on
want
your
you to
question,
explain- I
on
want
your
you to explain
question,
that.
you're saying
Yes.
that what do we see today?
Mm-hmm.
Situation has not changed because from one bad government, the next group of government learn from the bad government before and do the same thing, even perfect it and do better. So I'm stimulated by what Albert Einstein said, that the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them do evil without doing anything. We have a situation where that style of governance has impoverished this country to the lowest level, that I usually say, I see Liberia now in the ICU, in the intensive care unit. I know better. I love my country. I cannot stand by. And that is why the rest of us who are still surviving, they're supporting me, and a lot of Liberians are supporting me for us to change that situation. I feel it a national duty to bring in a different style of governance that puts the people's interest first and my interest secondary. It hasn't changed. This is the thing that has deteriorated to this level. Where the president in power built 47-story building in the first 8 months is not a laughable matter. Yeah? Scandals, $16 billion, $25 million, 9 embassies saying that the government of Liberia stole their money. They wrote an open letter to the president, including the American embassy, United Nations, all that. You took our money from central bank without our consent. That is theft. You know, legislators sitting down and saying, oh, when we go home to our people, they ask us to build them market, to build toilet, to do hand pump. So we are going to take $30,000 each, and that come to $3,090,000, and they put a caveat: this money cannot be audited, thereby promoting theft. Right? That's how it has degenerated. And so the president in power will go down in history as the first president who has built more private homes for himself than all of the presidents of Liberia combined, from J.J. Ramos to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So we reached the height of that level of insanity in government, that level of reckless disregard for the interests of the people. We cannot sit by to that. So we are encouraging our people. We are telling them help is on the way. We cannot live this kind of situation. And I heard one official of CDC saying that, you know, my people, we should have done a lot for you, but we didn't do it. So vote us so we can do it a second time. I said, it beats logic, because when you're approaching a woman, that's the time to do all the good things. You can't say, oh, I love you, you're my girlfriend, but when I marry you, then I'll give you gifts, I'll do all the other things.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yeah, so you girlfriend.
People say.
You are a boyfriend. You're not doing anything for the woman. But you say when you marry her, then you do everything. But I am telling Liberian people that is a lie. They fail to do it now, they will not do it the second, because in the second round, second term, there will not be anything that will be fighting for, because that would be the last time. It will be reckless if they did this in the first term.
Along the way, we might come back
There will be more corrupt.
We might come back to
your presidency.
Your presidency and
presidential bid,
other political issues in Liberia. But let's see whether we can pick few calls.
Mr. Stewart, you were coming in.
Yeah, I was saying something. If you just look at current statistics, look at the Liberia Demographic Health Survey report. Look at it. It tells you over 40% of women in the whole northwestern Liberia never been to school. Never. Where do those statistics come from? Do they come from progressives?
What's the source of that?
Liberia Demographic Health Survey report.
Liberia Demographic.
I think it was done by Legis.
It was always Legis,
Done by
official.
Government
Official.
agency.
Official. Look at the children in school. School-age children that are not in school. All of that tells you. Who created those statistics or those stats? Were the progressives that created those stats? No. Under government.
So you think the progressive did nothing wrong?
But we're never in charge of government.
No, but we're following the law.
Even you guys from Moja did nothing wrong.
No, the law was you have a right to freely assemble.
Okay.
And we're conscientizing the people about their rights.
Okay.
It was not physical. It was they believe that you cannot have democracy without freedom of expression.
Okay.
Until 1985, we couldn't vote. 1985, I was over 30 years old, but it was my first time voting. Yes, because the laws at the time did not permit someone like me to vote. You had own property.
You had to own property to vote, not just to be voted for. You had to.
So today you see Zogo voting.
So
how do you think it came about? We were whipped. We went to jail.
It was through your intervention.
Yes, we paid the price.
So it means
we paid the price. Our generation paid the price. Yeah, he almost died.
But you live here. You are affected by any decision.
Oh yeah, but
others live here too.
Was you could not cast ballot if you didn't vote. I witnessed a primary chiefs and the election in 1968 when I was young. My father was one of the. He was representing his friend. Peter Dolly, and they were putting people on the line. And you pay tax? Where you don't know how to put you on the line. At the time, people used to stay in line to vote. Now it's secret ballot, right? So I saw them putting people on the line because they didn't
pay hot tax.
They didn't own, because you had to own hot before you pay hot tax. So they couldn't vote. They had no right to vote.
Okay.
So we challenged that. It was true Moja that hot tax ended.
Okay.
It was true Moja that Pioneers Day.
So Moja did a lot of things in this country.
Oh yeah, we have Pioneers Day,
Moja did a lot.
Yes, we have
Pioneers Day. We started
January 7th. Matilla Nipo Day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, political leader of the Liberia's People Party and a member of Moja. We also have Mr. John Stewart, another member of Moja here in our studio. And I must admit, we're learning a lot from the both of you.
Of course, yes.
It's a wonderful conversation.
And the lines
are already blinking. So let's take some calls, Anthony.
0777 105 100 0555 105 100. Those are the numbers you can call. Please walk away from your radio or else we'll have you off the line. The first person is here. Hello? Hello, what's your name? Where you call from? Go ahead, Adelingo. Thank you, my brother. Another person here. Hello. Hello. Good evening. What's your name? From where you call? Go ahead, Victor.
I want to say thank you to the two esteemed and still Nigerians. You know, for me, that had this full expression as, you know, the president was person on their explanation. And I wish and I'm appealing to them so that I can do more of this. Because to enlighten the public mind. Because while we have when we were doing all these things, we were not around. So the only thing they can do right now is to disseminate this information. Because, you know, from my reading, I've never made up I've been research and not research.
Okay.
John Ray.